There's a budding genre in gaming that I'd like to give my full undivided attention to. You see, we are currently in a retro renaissance, my friends. The second golden age of 2D platformers, only this time, it goes under the name of MetroidVania. MetroidVania is a style of 2D action gameplay revolving around exploring a labyrinth, mostly procedural of course, with the necessity of locating new items and equipment to progress beyond otherwise impassable obstacles. And while this genre has existed for a while, I'd like to think that only recently it's gaining momentum and really gaining popularity. Games like Shadow Complex and Cave Story really kickstarted the genre a couple of years back, while games like V, Rogue Legacy, and Ori and the Blind Forest refined how things were done in the genre. Now, of course, with every genre, there's that one gem in the crown, and today we're gonna be ripping that shit out and inspecting every nook and cranny of it. Just make sure no one sees us breaking in, you know what I mean? I don't want to do any more hard time. I've done my time. I'm not going back, so... Today we're gonna be looking at a game that recently came out on the PC and PS4, and right now as it stands, it's kind of fighting for the top contender of the best Metroidvania game to date. Well, of course, until Bloodstained comes out. Koji Igarashi is gonna cockslap that game with all of his Kickstarter money. Anyway, today we're going to be looking at Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge is a side-scroller action-adventure game where the player controls a scientist named Trace. After being killed in a lab accident, he wakes up to find himself in a mysterious alien world. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not how death works, but you know what? I'm gonna let that one pass. Let's talk about the game. Now, when I first loaded up Axiom Verge, I have to admit I was really surprised. While the game itself is more on the Metroid side of the Metroidvania genre atmospherically, the feel of the game's platforming reminds me a lot of Mega Man and Contra. This makes me question, of course, what a Contra Man game would be like, and also, if I just predicted something in the future of indie gaming, copyright Smarticus 2015. All the copyrights. But I gotta be honest, the one thing I absolutely love about Axiom Verge is its aesthetics. And that's not me saying I love it because it's pretty and whatnot, no. I'm saying I love it because the atmosphere it gives off is that of dreadful curiosity. Every time you approach a new segment, it leaves you asking what's gonna come after me next. Even just looking at the scenery really just gives you the heebie-jeebies. Alrighty, let me just go in this room, take care of these. Nope, can't look at you right now. Now, speaking of atmosphere, let's talk about the music of Axiom Verge. Thomas Happ did a wonderful job with the soundtrack, as well as the whole game, mind you. The soundtrack not only reminds you of games like Metroid, but it adds its own flavor into the mix, reminding me of games like Hotline Miami. See the track Occlusion for reference. But seriously, the soundtrack adds this extra weight of dread to the atmosphere, always present and always reminding you that something is offset. The game's biggest strength is its combat. Gunplay and gadgetry are the key elements that define Axiom Verge. There are tons of different weapons to find, and almost all of which are optional. While there is a major lack of ammo in the game, it's nice to see that it has a major variety in weapons. And even better, almost everyone has its own use. Notably, the Disruptor is one of the most interesting weapons in the game, allowing you to glitch and manipulate items and enemies to alternative forms. And the boss battles, I gotta say, are like some of the most fun I've had. They really are a throwback to games like Super Metroid, and they really are a challenge. The boss battles of Axiom Verge could be divided into two types: calculating and chaotic. While all the bosses are massive, and seriously, they are fucking massive to deal with, some of which are strategic, allowing you to use various patterns. Others have a brute sensibility to them, basically shooting full force at you, allowing you only little time to actually react and fight. The one thing I have a problem with in Axiom Verge is the exploration. While I do love the atmosphere and looking at the scenery, a lot of the times it did feel like it chore to track back and find new ways to get out. Axiom Verge is honestly an amazing throwback to the Metroid games. Think of it as a spiritual successor to Metroid with the Bat utility belt, meaning that it takes the core concept and brings its own twist to the Metroidvania genre. And guys, don't forget, this was all done by a one-man team. Gotta respect and admire the work that went into this. Music, level design, visuals, gameplay, all one dude. I can barely get to the bank before it closes. Do yourself a favor and pick up the game along with the soundtrack. Axiom Verge is well worth the $30 for an awesome gaming experience, as well as some equally awesome tunes. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this review, guys. Honestly, good to be doing this now. So, with that said, I'll talk to you later. This is Smarty, signing off.